Hi ladies, welcome to the ESOL Practicum. Because of some scheduling conflicts, there's only 3 of you in this course, so I'm hoping to maybe meet together a couple times since we're all in the metro area or close to the metro area. We'll talk about that later on, and let's go ahead and just do an orientation to the syllabus. Of course, like always, you want to read the syllabus in its entirety so there won't be any questions or any surprises for you, but we'll go over it briefly now. You can see all the contact information there, the course description. I'm really excited about this course. This is just a course where you get to put together all your learning in a classroom, and I get to come and observe you, my favorite part of my job. If you don't already have your textbook, you need to make sure you get the Techniques and Principles of Language Learning, the 3rd edition. And you'll also be using your SciUp book, and you should have that from your previous courses. You can see here our course objectives. In addition to the observations in the classroom, I do want to get you ready for the ESOL praxis. And so we'll be looking at different teaching methods and the use of first language in them. We'll be looking at the role of culture, and we'll be planning and implementing instructional units for your students. You see the unit goals, and those are again for the School of Education, the same goals throughout. Now for the course requirements. Of course, attendance, participation, just like always. Make sure you do all the forums, all the wikis, all the readings, and that sort of thing. Technology. You need to make sure you have good internet connection, and probably will use Google Docs and or QuickTime or your iPad, because we'll also be using Focus X2i, and it'll be easiest just to record it on your iPad and then tag it with Focus X2i. Of course, you put all your assignments through Moodle. As I mentioned earlier, I will do a couple of visits where I'll come and observe you in the classroom. I'll use the SciUp form for observing. The first time I come, it'll just be for me to kind of get to know you, see what your situation is, and so on. And then the second time I come, and maybe the first time too, I can give you some feedback and some things that I think are going really well and some things that you might think about. Teacher work sample is another component. If you're a fairly recent grad, you may be saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to do a teacher work sample. It's an abbreviated teacher work sample. It's not the full-blown thing. And we'll just do 3 criterion in the teacher work sample. It also does include a unit lesson plan that has at least 3 days of lesson in it. Then you'll videotape yourself, and this is where I always get a lot of groaning and, oh, I don't want to do that. But believe me, everybody who does it always appreciates it after the fact. So you'll videotape yourself, you'll watch it, you'll use the same SciUp form that I use when I come and observe you, and you'll do a self-assessment. After that's done, then we go to the next assignment, which is a peer review of a lesson. You're going to review your classmates' lessons, fill out the same SciUp form on them, and then again, hopefully we will meet as a group rather than doing Adobe Connect. If we can't figure out a time for all of us to meet together, then we'll just go ahead and do the Adobe Connect. But again, I thought if we can, we're all here or near to the metro area, we can just meet face to face. I'd actually like to do that twice. Once in week 4 or the beginning of week 5, and once in week 8. In week 4, we can go over how to do the Focus X2i, and I just think it might be easier to show you in person. And then in week 8 is when we'll get together and we'll do the peer reviews and the conferencing with each other and so on. You're going to be leaders in the ESOL field, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to do a lot of conferencing with your peers, and so that's a skill that you may need to develop too. And finally, your final assignment is a TESOL standards paper, and you've done this in other courses, but we'll be looking at Domain 5, Professionalism, and writing your paper indicating how you're meeting that standard. So the class schedule and assignments, make sure you take the time to read through all of those. Of course, I give you the topics, the objectives, what you need to be reading, and then the discussion questions and assignments. And of course, those are all the way through week 8. Then for the grading, again, I just try to make it so it's easy for you to find when things are due and how many points things are worth, excuse me, and you can see the scoring criteria. Then we have the course policies and guidelines and also supports. You know by now the Times New Roman, APA style. We expect you to be honest, no plagiarism, and so on. The late work policy is just as it's always been. 10% off for each day that something is late, up to 3 days late, and then after that, no credit will be given. Assessing papers, I do keep your papers for about a year if you need to get those. And then we have some support. If you have need any accommodations, there's what you do, directions and so on, which includes the Kresge Academic Support Center, and you can see more about the Kresge right there. We also have online tutoring, and if you need any help, for example, with your writing, that's a great resource to use. All of that is housed in the Maybe Library and Learning Commons, and there's information about that. We really encourage our graduate students to use the library. TaskStream, you'll be uploading at least one section of your TWS to TaskStream. I'll grade it in Moodle, but I also have to grade it in TaskStream. And then finally, please, please, please do your course evaluation. It really helps me tweak some things, do some things differently for the next course, and just make things better. And finally, the Kansas Educator Code of Conduct. This is something that KSDE would like us to put in all of our syllabi. Just reminding you as a professional teacher some things that you need to do and so on. So that's the brief orientation. I look forward to working with all of you in class and in your classroom. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, and I'll send you some information about signing up for a time for observation, or I guess actually it'll be in the first unit's agenda, and seeing if we can get together for a meeting time in week 4 and then in week 8. All right, have a great week. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.